As your president, I will do everything in my power to protect our LGBTQ citizens. Believe me. You leave it the way it is. There have been very few complaints the way it is. People go, they use the bathroom that they feel is appropriate.
Do you support marriage equality?
It's irrelevant because it was already settled. It's law. It was settled in the Supreme Court. I mean, it's done.
So even if you appoint a judge that...
It's done. You have, these cases have gone to the Supreme Court. They've been settled. And I think I'm fine with that.
Hi, my name's Knox Zajac. I'm 11 years old and I go to Wyndham Middle School. I'm a 6th grader. I was in the library and this book was on a stand. I'd like to read you a page. My back over my hips as I ask if we should take our clothes off. And he's saying yes before I finish my sentence. He's pulling off my t-shirt, laughing when I can't undo his shirt buttons. He's undoing my belt. I'm reaching into his bedside drawer for a condom. We're kissing. Again, we're rolling over. Obviously, you can see where this is going. I don't know if it's because we're feeling especially emotional or just tired, or these past couple of weeks have been too much. But this reminds me so much of the first time we had sex. We were both fucking terrified, and the whole thing was kind of terrible because we didn't know what we were doing. But it was good too, so good, because we were a mess of emotions, and we were scared and excited, and everything felt new. So this sort of feels like that. Nick touches me like he's scared that any minute. Now, this book was at my middle school, and it was on a stand. When I rented it out to show my dad it, the librarian asked if I wanted more and if I wanted a graphic novel version.
Oh, boy. So I'm that kid's father.
Okay, good. I was asking for you.
Yeah, I'll take another 3 minutes. So that's my son.
Okay.
11 years old, and went to his library and found that by the entry door of our library, this is the smut that he is finding, all right? I don't care whether it's gay, straight, bisexual, whatever the terms are for all this stuff, doesn't need to be at our school. Doesn't need to be at my 11-year-old's library. And then as far as genderqueer, I've got a son in the high school as well. And this is bullshit. We know it, all right? We do not need to be having literature that's showing boys how to suck dick, all right? I'm very, very frustrated about it, okay? And you may think that schools know the best for our children. You know who know the best for our children? The parents. And if you remember this, I was here last year.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. What you guys just saw, I want to make some comments on because it is so important that you guys know exactly what is going on in today's society. Not to be naive, not to be told by a particular side, but to be told the facts. You cannot hide this anymore. This is a kid, an 11-year-old, reading out what actually is a pornographic book to his local school board. This is the new sexual revolution, by the way, if you haven't already noticed. The new sexual revolution is all about indoctrinating our kids with these vile, woke, sexual-natured ideas and ideologies to pollute their minds in such a way that it stunts their growth and so that they follow along with this ridiculous narrative that it's all about feeling. It's all about how I feel. It's all about how I look. It's all about my identity. It's all about sexualizing everything in society, and nothing is wrong with sexualizing things in society. I mean, we had stupid Sam Smith or whatever his name is, who claims to be non-binary, which I don't get. You can't claim to be a non-gender. It just doesn't work that way. It's the same rhetoric as so-called being transitioning. You cannot change gender. And the same thing is you cannot be no gender at all. And then all of a sudden you decide to change the fact that you are either a male or a female one day. And then the same thing with changing your pronouns. So we saw Demi Lovato, for example, change her pronouns from they, them to she, them, or she, they. I can't keep up with it all because it's just so ridiculous. But that's what's happening to our kids. Kids are looking up to these icons. They're looking up to these people that have the fame, have the status. And you know what? Society has realized that if we can get this kind of material that the boy just read out into the schools, into the libraries, and if we can get the kids reading that, then we can get their minds. We can get their hearts, and we can make them believe a certain way. Reading is powerful. There's the old saying, readers are leaders. And what you read really does impact your level of cognitive function, as well as your psychological function, as well as your mental state. It's a huge, huge thing. It's like, why do we read? Why do we read to learn? And society knows better than to put, well, they know better, but they still do it, than to put all this material in front of kids to make it known to kids. There's an 11-year-old kid. I remember when I was 11 years old, I didn't have to worry about this stuff. I didn't have to worry about going to the library and then seeing this book on display talking about gender identity and gender nonconformity and all this other rubbish that comes with it. I didn't have to worry about that. But now these kids are having to worry about it. And honestly, I'm so glad that this 11-year-old boy had the courage and had the decency and had the common sense, which is not so common these days. And I'm so glad that he had the common sense. And it goes to show you that there are parents still out there that are raising their kids the right way. And parents, keep up the good job. Keep it up, because we need more parents like this dad who will raise their kids like what this boy did. He had the courage to go to the school board and say, this is wrong. This shouldn't be on display. And even the librarian, who should have known better, she was basically saying to the young kid, she did say, do you want a more graphic version of this? Do you essentially want a pornographic magazine? All under the banner of this is about educating the child of homosexuality, of gender identity, transgender. And that's how they get away with it. But this stuff, this kind of material is wrong, period. Plain and simple. Even for a kid. It's definitely wrong for a kid. And that a librarian, an adult that is working in that space, and if she sees a kid, and that's another concerning factor, the librarian, she should be fired for even encouraging a more graphic version or even mentioning that she can give a graphic version to a child. What is that? That is peddling porn.
A friend of mine called up. He said, you know, you don't get enough credit because in Palm Beach, you opened a club that nobody would do, and it's open to everybody. It's open to everybody. And a member of the club, great guy, who's gay, wrote this magnificent letter saying what Donald Trump did, nobody else would do. Believe me.